second. Make sure we're good here. Okay. Oops. All right. Welcome back. Today is, of course, May 11th. It is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Actually, I don't have to text my mother. I just have to, because I already did. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we are here to review Backlash 2025. If you guys have not already, please, we appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. We are not only witnessing John Cena's final year with WWE, but we also got to see his face, or see him face one of his oldest rivals one last time when he defended the undisputed WWE Championship against hometown hero from St. Louis, Missouri, Randy Orton. The only non-title contest on the card featured Pat McAfee stepping into the ring for a singles match for the first time in 2 years to take on the Ring General Gunther. We also saw Lyra Valkyria defend the Intercontinental Championship alongside Dominic Mysterio defending his Intercontinental Championship against, of course, Penta, and, of course, Lyra Valkyria defending hers against Becky Lynch, with Jacob Fatu facing 3 challengers for his United States Championship. How did this all go down? Well, let's get right into it, as we started off the show with Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu. They had a bit of a standoff. Knight went after Fatu, while McIntyre went after Priest, pairing up to take our fight out of the ring. Priest and Knight temporarily worked together to take out Fatu, but it lasted only about 30 seconds before McIntyre started taking everyone out. Each competitor had a chance to dominate the other 3 for a brief period, so it never felt like anyone was the clear favorite. The crowd gave him this is awesome chance right before Fatu started taking everyone out with his high-risk offense. He was the star of the match, though, especially in the fans' eyes. It had a lot of energy, and all 4 men had a chance to look like a million bucks. The crowd was having a ball, and it seemed like everyone worked together so much in recent months. This allowed them to build some great chemistry, which is always good in a feud because this allows them to kind of, pair off and tick off. And of course, we also got to see the Warrior versus Werewolf, of course, showdown between McIntyre and Fatu, which I thought was nice. Priest and McIntyre fought into the crowd and ended up going through a couple of tables, which, of course, led the first batch of backstage personnels to check on them to make sure they're all right. So we had a bit of a slow pace when we got back to Fatu and LA Knight. When it looked like LA Knight would put Fatu through the announce table, Sikoa showed up and pulled him off of it. Fatu, of course, was just lying there. And Solo had a plan. Solo looked at LA Knight. LA Knight tried chasing him. And he tried, of course, to be like, whoa, back up. Hold on. I don't want no trouble. And Knight got clocked with a clothesline from a Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb shocked Knight by attacking him from the crowd, and Fatu looked confused when he realized what happened. But he took advantage of the situation and finished off the megastar and pinned him to retain the title. Fantastic opening bout. Don't get me wrong. We got a lot of fun, got a lot of action, and of course a big debut from a big guy in Jeff Cobb. WWE finally wanted him to be used here, and they did. They used him for this show. We knew it was going to happen. Hopefully SmackDown can follow this up with the introduction to Jeff Cobb and now being a part of probably what could be Solo's new alliance with Jeff Cobb and Fatu by his side. And hopefully the Tongans can come back. But yeah, this is, or I don't know what's going on with them. I think they're injured. I got to look more into it. Judging by Fatu's reaction of being a bit slightly off and confused, though, this could cause some more problems than it solves. And do remember, I have said and stated that Fatu will keep the title. I don't know who he's going to lose it to, but when he loses it, remember, the cause for him losing it will be because of Solo Sikoa, which hopefully we get a showdown at SummerSlam with them. Fatu retained the United States Championship. This graded an A-. Of course, I agree. This was a great bout to open up with. It was fun. I loved Jeff Cobb coming in. It was a good reaction to have. Finally using him. And we're going to hopefully we get to see more later of this. Priest did a nice Hurricanrana from the top rope to Fatu, which was pretty good. But moving on, we're going to get Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Of course, we got to see the video package for that. The Women's IC title bout was up next. Becky Lynch was out first to battle her former friend, Lyra Valkyria. Both women were all about business as they made their way to the ring. The man scored the first real takedown and taunted her opponent, but she let Valkyria get to her feet so they could square up again. The champ took her down into a submission that tied up all 4 of her limbs. These superstars were not holding back. Lynch ended up with some bloody wounds on her elbow, but never slowed down. They were making sure this bout felt completely different from their previous encounter for the NXT belt, which they have mentioned on commentary. Or during the video package, too. Especially since Lynch was a major heel this time around. The big-time Becks spent a lot of time in control before Valkyria began to make a comeback. The crowd broke into dueling chants, but the people cheering for the champion were just a bit louder. The way this match was structured and paced allowed them to showcase their wrestling ability, while also telling a story in the ring. It was hard to think of anything they could have added or done to make it better. Lynch grew frustrated after she hit her finisher and failed to capture gold. So she grabbed a chair. Jessica Carr, of course, stopped her from using it. She then removed the turnbuckle when Jessica Carr was throwing the chair away. This led to the ref being briefly distracted when Lyra Valkyria should have had the match won. Valkyria ended up winning after countering a pin, and yeah. That's actually how it would go. Valkyria would end up, Becky had her in like the disarmer, right? Valkyria was able to get out of that and roll it up to a counter it for a pin, and she won. It was a quick 1, 2, 3, but right after, this is the best part. Right after, Lynch attacked her. Why is this the best part? Well, it just adds more fuel to the fire that's already burning. Lynch attacked her and put her in the disarmer as soon as the match was over. So this feud clearly isn't over. It's not. This is why it's better to have this happen. I was hoping for Bayley to come back and show up and fucking make a save here. Right? But that would have probably been overbooked. And this ending of her attacking her, this may have been a little overbooked. This feud clearly isn't over. The ending may have been a little overbooked, but as a whole, this was a tremendous match. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. First kind of little thing here. We already had a great A- here. Fuck it. We're giving this an A. They had the right person win this match. Valkyria won. A lot of people were like, yo, Lynch should win this match. I thought this was the hardest prediction I made, and I'm glad I got it right. But honestly, I didn't care. I didn't care who wins, because Becky's a great wrestler, and so is Valkyria. And we are seeing improvement happen on both ends. So, Valkyria wins, and that was my prediction. Graded an A in my book. It's hard not to laugh at Valkyria walking with her bird wings extended the whole time she was doing her entrance. Not only that, but Lynch also mocked Valkyria's fiance, Irish wrestler L.J. Cleary, in the front row, which was nice. And of course, he was cheering for Valkyria, obviously. Next up was Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. And if you guys remember my prediction was Dominic would retain, but Penta would win the match via DQ. So, I kind of got half of it right. We went from the women's IC title to the men's, as Penta made his way to the ring to challenge Dominic Mysterio for the belt. The rest of the Judgment Day came out with Dom, but didn't go all the way to the ring with him. Mysterio was able to get the upper hand for a moment, but Penta's veteran experience allowed him to quickly turn the tables. Unfortunately for him, all the experience in the world wouldn't help when your opponent uses dirty tactics, and you have a nickname known as Dirty Dom. Speaking of, looked like a tougher competitor in this bout than he ever has before because he's doing it solo. Working with Penta has forced him to dig deep and bring out his best, and it led to him doing some of the best in-ring work known to man. And I kind of like this. You also got to build up chemistry with these. Obviously, Mysterio comes from a lineage of Mexican luchador, and so does Penta, coming from the experience of fucking his veteran expertise. Penta has been around the world. Mysterio has been around his father a lot. So you really get to see these two dynamics kind of clash. And it's kind of great to see this happen. How the match ended, though, not a fan. Not a fan of the ending of this. But, again, I'm not booking this. This is not how I would have ended it, because you know how I would have liked it to end. These guys have developed a lot of chemistry after working together a few times over in the past month, and they used it to give us the best encounter to date. In fact, this might have been the best singles match Mysterio has had in his WWE career. I could contrast that with the match he had with Rollins back during COVID, but again, yeah, this was pretty fucking good. He looked more confident in his ability than he ever has before. And he was able to keep it up with one of the best luchadors in the game today. But here was the ending. Carlito, hey, myself, I was wondering what the fuck I was doing out there. I tried to distract the referee so that my boy Finn Balor and JD could interfere. But the referee was able to see, apparently, that Finn grabbed a chair, right? Instead of just wailing on him, said, hold on, let me get a chair. Gets a chair and gets caught. Uh-oh. And ejected from ringside. That led to Finn Balor hopping up on the apron, being like, you know what, I got an idea. Hops up on the apron, distracts fucking the referee, only for El Grande Americano to show up and hit Penta with his reinforced steel headbutt while the referee was dealing with the Judgment Day. This allowed Dominic to hit the frog splash and pin Penta for the win. So Dominic defeats Penta and retains the belt. So I'm half correct. Penta didn't win the match, but Dominic retained. That's all I needed. So I got that half right. So B+. But again, best work. Not only that, but I was wondering what Mysterio's gear was inspired by, and it's obviously an homage to Psychosis. So, great idea. Now we get to kind of an honest opinion about this match. Pat McAfee and Gunther. Let me be for real before I start talking about this. To be brutally honest, this match was fucking terrible. But at the same time, this match went the way it was supposed to go. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. This match was exactly what it needed to be. But there is no removing the criticism from what you're going to get. And what you're going to get is criticism. And if you don't like it, well, too bad. It's not for you. You want everything to be cotton candy coated? Fucking, I don't know, go watch AEW or something. But here, I'm brutally honest about it. And to be brutally honest with you, I think this match was fucking terrible. I took the last bit of hours that I had left to watch this, and I did. And it was fucking bad. It was nothing but kicks and chops and fucking takedowns. This wasn't where Gunther is like a lion playing with his prey. No, this is more of like, okay, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna let you come back, kick me, slap me, chop me, and then I'm gonna put you back down. And it was rinse and repeat. But Gunther needed to do this because there was really nothing for him. And this is what they gave him. McAfee was able to step out from behind the announce desk to defend the honors of himself and Michael Cole against Gunther. The Ling General seemed all too happy to toy with McAfee at first. They locked up, and he shoved the former NFL punter to the ground. And back into the corner. On their next lockup, he whipped McAfee to the mat with a headlock. Every time the announcer tried to mount a little offense, Gunther would swat him away, like as if he was swatting a fly. When McAfee tried to hit him with some chops, The ring general let him hit a few before he leveled him with one big hit. Even a running kick from the NFL, from the former Indianapolis Colts player, angered Gunther more than hurt him. This was never going to be a competitive fight, but they did a good job spacing out their spots so that the match lasted a bit longer for a few minutes. Or then just a few minutes, sorry. McAfee managed to string a few moves together. He also tripped over the top rope when he was springboarding from it. Was able to hit Gunther with some chops until Gunther laid him out. But of course, he was shocked when Gunther kicked out at one and immediately stood up. Nothing affected Gunther. Cole pleaded with Gunther to end the match several times as he watched his colleague get decimated. Now, this is one of the predictions I kind of wanted to do here, was like Cole would throw in the towel for McAfee. And we haven't seen something like that in a very long time, and this is something that I would have loved to see. A towel be thrown in, you know? McAfee refused to tap, so the ring general pulled Cole into the ring and dared him to take a shot. This match was far more competitive than it needed to be, but they did a good job making it an entertaining story, even if it didn't always make sense. They kept trying to make it seem like McAfee had a chance, but we all knew it was fruitless. At one point, though, McAfee was outside of the apron. Gunther suplexed him in, and Cole swept the feet of Gunther for McAfee to pin him, rolling for two. Eventually, after milking the ending for all it was worth, McAfee finally passed out in a sleeper to give Gunther the win. As a wrestling match, this was passable. As an entertaining story, this was a lot of fun. But this was fucking terrible. As a wrestling match, passable but terrible. It was a terrible match. But it needed to do it. But it was, again, it was what it needed to be. So that's why it's passable. WWE managed to make Gunther look dominant without making McAfee look like a chump. But again, you get what you got. McAfee went for more of a street clothes look than a wrestling gear. You could tell Gunther was trying not to laugh at points in the match. Because he probably knew this was fucking stupid. So, we're rated a C+, and yeah, I'm going to say it's a C+ too. We barely get to see McAfee do this. But now what's next for Gunther, really? That's another big question. What's next for Gunther after this shit? All right, so after he defeats McAfee, what's next for Gunther? What are you going to do now? Well, I'm looking for a draft, man. I'm looking for the draft to happen. I think he needs to be put on SmackDown. I think we need some more, I think we need him on SmackDown. I think we need the draft. Come up with some ideas, do the draft, and fucking get this over with. Anyway. John Cena versus Randy Orton. The main event of this year's Backlash is likely the last time we will see Orton and Cena face each other one-on-one, so it felt like a big deal before it even started. They took a beat before locking up for the first time. Neither man gave an inch, so they broke the hold, circled each other, and locked up again. The entrance was loud, though. The entrance is the one thing I want to point out. They were fucking loud in Missouri, and I'm glad that they were loud in Missouri for Orton. I'm glad they were singing along with his theme song. Orton poked Cena in the eye and sent him out of the ring, which angered the 17-time world champion. So, after Orton got the better of Cena a few times, the champ tried to leave their match, and the Viper chased him down and brought him back in. Now, Cena would also poke Orton in the eye, too. That's why it sent Cena out. A little back and forth, and you got, hopefully, which was here, I don't know, they don't think they mentioned it, no, they didn't mention it, but the crowd was going, you can't wrestle, and then clapping, you can't wrestle, as Orton had Cena in a headlock, and then some of the fans were hearing this, and they were like, fuck that, I'm a loyal fan of John Cena, and said, yes, he can, you can't wrestle, yes, he can. And of course, again, we now got, now we got the Cena fans, the Super Cena fans, and the John Cena haters fighting each other on this. And Cena, and let's just drag the cat out of the fucking bag. Cena doesn't care if you love him or you hate him. He's the undisputed WWE champion who does not care. That is somebody I like. Now, once they got into the contest a bit more, this turned into the kind of bout these two have always had. They knew each other better than anyone. So everything they did looked good, but nothing they did was surprising. Cena and Orton are both very different than they were 10 years ago. So they pasted themselves and built up to big moments instead of trying to pack it in as much as they could. They had a lot of time to work with, so they had to fill it wisely. While this was a solid main event, it's hard to say it's one of their best performances together because they have had so many. It felt predictable in spots and a little slower in some places than it should have been, but it still had plenty of fun moments that called back to their long history together. And this is another thing, like their rivalry, their history together, their in-ring experience. They do have a rivalry, they do have history, they do have a lot of this, and their best performance is not this one, but it's their other ones combined together that make this fun. Both men survived finishes from the other a couple times, and the referee was taken out twice. Actually, fuck that. 2 referees were taken out near the end of the match. We saw the Viper steal Cena's finisher to put him through 2 tables. One, the announce table that barely fucking broke until after the fact. And then the second one, which he put him through to make up for the one for the announce table. Cena took out the second official, Eddie Caruso. Hopefully, I think his last name's Caruso. Yeah, Eddie Caruso, who showed up, preventing anyone from being able to count when Orton hit another RKO. The Viper looked befuddled as producers filled the ring to check on Eddie Caruso. What? He RKO'd the SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis, and he took out a bunch of people because he was mad that he fucking should have won the title. Everybody was just getting in his fucking way, and he decided, fuck this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get an RKO. You get an RKO. And I think St. Louis loved that. I think because the hometown hero likes, they like Randy Orton, they love the RKO finisher. Obviously, everybody's going to get hit with an RKO. I'm tired of this. So what happened next was that Orton was about to punt Cena in the fucking head. I was like, yes, let's do it. Super Cena fan R-Truth showed up, stopping Orton from punching him, allowing Cena, of course, to make a comeback and hit a low blow. R-Truth made Orton fucking lose his mind. Orton was like, what are you doing? RKO'd him and said, why? Why did you do this? And fucking Cena hits a low blow. He nailed the Legend Killer with the title, covered him. The ref crawled back into the ring, made the count, and declared him the winner. This was a lot of fun, even if it was very overbooked towards the end. But again, it needed to set it. Here's the reason R-Truth got involved for this. And during the post-show, if you guys did not see the post-conference, R-Truth went up to Cena, talked to him a bit, and Cena said, yo, if you say one more fucking thing, I'm going to put you to this table. I'm warning you, okay? R-Truth was like, but, and then Cena fucking attitude adjustment him through the table. No more questions. So the reason R-Truth is here is because Cena and R-Truth are most likely to face each other at, most likely, I should say most likely because it's by this point now, John Cena and R-Truth are most likely to face each other at Saturday Night Main Event for the title, and this would be a general callback to their match against each other. Their only encounter with each other in a feud or a storyline would make the only callback that it could make to is Capital Punishment 2011. If you haven't seen that pay-per-view, please do not go back and see that pay-per-view, but I would look up Cena and R-Truth, Capital Punishment, if you want to watch it. Go ahead. The story of that match, or the story that built to that match, is exactly the same thing, but backwards. So, or well, I shouldn't say backwards, but opposite. So R-Truth had to play a John Cena hater, and everybody loved John Cena. So he would scold people in the crowd who loved John Cena. Right? Now there were some John Cena haters, of course. He would support the John Cena haters, but of course R-Truth at the time was a heel, so he hated John Cena fans who loved him. And John Cena was a babyface with the championship at the time. So when they had their match, that was the story. You're not going to diss out my fans who support me and are loyal and are hustle and show a lot of respect. Cena here now this is different. R-Truth is the babyface. Cena's the heel who doesn't care about them, even if they hate him or love him. R-Truth loves John Cena and is going to go probably into the groups and fans and say, hey, I'm going to fucking, do you love John Cena? Because I love John Cena. And they're going to say, I hate John Cena. Why do you hate John Cena? Man, you just a hater. I'm going to find somebody who loves him. Right? So, again, that's going to be what the story most likely going to be. It's going to be called back to Cena and R-Truth from Capital Punishment 2011. But yeah, that's why R-Truth is there. It's so they could set up Cena's next feud. But Cena defeated Orton and told the production crew to cut his fucking music and say, I want you to take a good long look, because this is the last time you're going to see me, and this is the last time you're going to see John Cena, and the last time you're going to see this title belt, because I'm the last real champion. Ending the show. Graded a B+, like it should be. So, everybody's good. Cena should come out to the theme he used before his usual song. It would add to the heel side of his character, because that was the tune he used when he was a heel all those years ago. Well, I think Cena should come out to his 2005 song, Bad Bad Man. I'm a bad, with a mic in my hand, I'm a bad man. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? Go take a listen to that, because that should be his theme song. I'm a bad man. And he doesn't care. But he's, again, like John Cena said, he's not changing who he is. He's not going to change just for their approval or appeal. He's going to give you nothing. And John Cena's following suit with that. So he's not going to give you the flashy colors. He's not going to give you the soldier salute. He's not going to give you the fucking running down to the arena. He's going to give you what he gives you. And that is blacks, like I've said before when I talked about Cena's heel turn. He's going to give you a black screen with his name on it. He's going to give you a slow-ass walk. Title behind him. Little sign flag right behind him. And he's going to walk the same way he's walking. The same way he walked into Philadelphia for One Night Stand. I think it's exactly the same shit. If I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look it up. But it's exactly the same shit that he did before. When Cena walked into Philadelphia, he walked in, and he put the fucking thing like this, had his whole flags here, and everybody was throwing shit. And when John Cena threw his shirt, he got thrown back. Okay, that is okay. If he throws his shirt at you, and you want to throw it back, that's no problem. But don't throw shit at wrestlers. Okay? We had that problem on SmackDown, as you guys can go back and see on the SmackDown streams. Again, not okay to throw shit at the wrestlers, not okay to throw things at anybody. But how was this Backlash? Well, Backlash has always been considered a B-level event for WWE, but the thing that makes a show good is the action in the ring, not its pedigree. This year's PLE featured some strong performances and 3 mid-card title bouts, but the women's IC title and the men's IC title match were the biggest highlights of the show. Mysterio has had one of his best performances to date against Penta, and Gunther and McAfee turned in a solid bout that made the former NFL player, look more competitive than expected. But wait, looked more competitive than expected. But wait. Hold on. This might be a little contradictory. They turned in a solid bout that made the look more competitive than expected. But you went. Oh, let's go back. You said, what was it? Yeah, right here. You said that this was never going to be competitive. So how can you say? That's a bit contradictory. How are you going to say that it's a solid bout that made the NFL player look more competitive? It didn't make him look more competitive. He wasn't trying to compete with him. This isn't a competitive fight. This was supposed to be basically a squash. Anyway. However, all eyes were on the main event as Cena and Orton worked their butts off to give us an entertaining show, but some of the shenanigans felt unnecessary after a little bit. As a whole, Backlash was a above-average show with a few things you could reasonably complain about. Sure. None of the results were surprising, but it was a decent way to spend a few hours on a Saturday night. Graded, of course, a B. And yeah, I gotta agree. This was great. This is definitely a B+. This is definitely a B pay-per-view. A few things you can complain about. Me, of course, complaining. Also forgetting to mention that LA Knight fucking took the pinfall here. Or maybe I mentioned that. But yeah, LA Knight shouldn't have took the pinfall. Whatever. Little minor things you can complain about. Other than that, I mean, there's really nothing. Everything was good here. But yeah, this was Backlash 2025. What did you think? Leave your comments down below. I thought this was a good Backlash. Not that much to take from it. We're going to lead up to a Saturday Night Main Event on the 24th of May. We also got Money in the Bank 3 weeks later, so look out for that. Money in the Bank will be coming to you to the Intuit Dome in LA. in Los Angeles, California. As you guys know, of course, Money in the Bank, good pay-per-view, is it's basically the 5th major pay-per-view out of the 4 majors. Of course, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait to talk about what's going to happen on Monday night after Backlash, of course, as you know. And we got, of course, next Saturday for SmackDown. So until then, I will see you guys. Also, again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And yeah.